Hello and welcome to the show, and welcome to a new series. I am going to be taking a selection of race cars, a selection of crazy supercars and various interesting vehicles, maybe some go-karts, maybe some Formula 1 cars. It'll be up to you guys to decide what you want to see run on Project Cars 2 around, well, pretty much the toughest racing conditions you can imagine. I'm going to have one lap at the Nurburgring with my chosen car of choice in the snow to try and go as quickly as possible. Now, off camera, I took an Audi S1, the fairly normal road car. A decent road car, don't get me wrong. A decent road car. Took that around the Nürburgring in the snow on its first, its first lap, its one lap, to set a benchmark time. A 9:22.5 was the lap that I managed with the Audi. Now, on a dry track, this V8 supercar that we have here would destroy it. There's no doubt about it. V8 supercar versus admittedly quite fast Audi hatchback, but still road normal Audi hatchback. Yeah, the V8 supercar would eviscerate it. But on a snowy Nürburgring, big rear-wheel drive Aussie touring car against the all-wheel drive Audi, I'm not so sure. I am not so sure at all, and that is the beauty of this challenge. I don't know what's going to be quick. And it is going to be very, very high-pressure laps for me. I cannot afford to make a single mistake. One slip-up will be costly with these cars. So, yeah, caution is going to be needed. It's going to be terrifying trying to thread these cars around the Nürburgring. Now, I haven't set it to a blizzard. The reason being is that for the sake of the video, for the sake of viewing, and for the sake of potentially YouTube compression, or for those of you that have slightly worse internets, not quite being able to watch it at full 1080p and whatnot, you're probably not going to want all of the very, very fast-moving particles. But we have got some light snow going on. All of the vehicles are going to be run with the game's setup. Now, the game will apply a setup to the car based on the weather conditions, which it has done here. We've got ice tyres on our car. It's going to be needed. It's going to need ice tyres to do this. Oh, God. Why am I doing this? Why on earth is this a good idea? We're going to go for it. I've got to try and be very, very careful while still going quickly in a V8 supercar to try and beat an Audi hatchback. But here we go. There are, of course, no assists on in any of this. Let's go forward. Let's try and not let the Aussies down. I really have no idea what to expect in terms of lap time. You see, the ice tyres, they do give you some pretty good grip on this game. And the all-wheel drive Audi is actually not that hard at all to drive around the snow here. But a V8 supercar? God knows, it will take a few corners, certainly, to even build up some confidence. You've got to find, where are the brakes in this? How much brake pressure can I get away with before things start to lock up? How much throttle can I get away with before the back of the car wants to start coming round on you? I have done, to give the V8 supercar, well, a little bit of a chance, being the very first vehicle to run in this series, of course, in a one-shot like this. It is always going to favour cars perhaps a little later on. To give the V8 supercar a fighting chance, I have driven it in the snow at another circuit. It was at Cadwell Park, which is quite a different track to the Nürburgring, but there we go. I'm going to jump on the brakes and go over that crest. That will get your car airborne if you are not careful. So yeah, we're not going to be flat out over there, that much is for sure. I am so far quite impressed with the grip that I am getting from this vehicle. Now, you might notice that things like top speed are a little bit less than you might expect. I think there is an element of essentially resistance from having these ice tyres on the car, potentially the way the game wants the car set up, that it does kind of limit what they can do in terms of straight line speed. We got away on that curb quite nicely. I'm very, very surprised how well this is putting its power down here. This is not an easy circuit. It is bumpy. It is, well, hilly, as you can see down here. The curves are massive, and you hit one of these in these sort of conditions, you're going to be pointing the wrong direction. There is little else to it. Oh, patience, patience, patience. Don't do anything stupid with the throttle. It's just gently, yeah, the low-speed corners is what's going to catch us out. Trying to be too brave in a low-speed corner somewhere. Once we've got up to 4th or 5th gear, thankfully, traction is pretty good. But I'm very nervous about turning in too hard. Again, with these ice tyres on the car, the front end, you know, it does bite pretty well into the corners. But once the back end starts to go, it will be panic stations. We have done, well, mostly fast corners so far. As we get towards the end of the lap, we're coming up to some of the more technical, some of the tighter turns. This is where throttle control is going to be really important. We're kind of a third of the way through our I think we're making good pace in the V8 Supercar. We're not struggling as much as I feared we might be in a 600 horsepower touring car. This is where, in the Audi, for example, you can turn into here and be almost flat out the other side immediately. I can't do that in this. Gently does it. There we go. Back end just starts kicking away. We are short shifting as well through the gears, certainly on the lower gears, as it's just easier to deal with the power when you do that. It's more about getting some movement going in this car, or out of some of these slower corners. That's just the way to go. We can get away with a little bit more throttle as we come to a kind of straight, mindful. Bounced across that. I didn't really want to hit the curb as hard as that. However, we actually got away with it surprisingly well. Don't chuck it in with too much speed or then give it too much throttle out the other side. I will say, while terrifying to drive here, very, very pretty in the snow. The Nurburgring, very, very pretty indeed. I am a big lover of the snowy conditions, whatever circuit it might be on. Does look very cool. Terrifying. I mean, I say very cool. It wasn't a pun. Don't think of puns while driving here. This is a silly thing. We're doing 140 in a V8 Supercar on snow. That's probably not safe. That's definitely not safe, in fact. Not going to carry that sort of speed through here, because I know if I give that too much welly again, trying to get to full throttle out of that corner, back end's fighting, over another crest we go. Now we start getting into the technical bits. I mean, the more technical bits, a little bit of a lock-up. It's not too bad, can deal with a little bit of a lock-up. Christ, second gear is dangerous out of here. Second gear is lethal out of there. Yeah, we're short shifted into third. No point running the risk of spinning the car. Let's bring it down to the carousel. Now we can kind of use the banking of this corner to help get it around and help carry speed without the risk of the back end letting go through there. Still quite terrified of how the V8 Supercar was going to react to all of that while we're coming up towards the 6-minute mark. I don't remember where the Audi was at this point. I don't have a clue where the Audi was at this particular point. I don't really have time to think about it either, because we are now going to start getting into the fiddly bits. There are a lot of crests around here to catch you out on power delivery, a lot of braking zones like that one where the back of the car is going to be stepping out on you, is going to be moving around. Still the V8 Supercar does. I mean, I'm being a lot more aggressive with the throttle in this than I thought I would ever be able to here. I mean, it's not... I mean, what was it? I think the world record for a V8 supercar at the nurburgring on this game is about 6:15. We're a long way away from that. Come on, catch it. Catch it. Okay, little slide down the hill. We got away with it. It was a little kiss on the wall. If that's all that goes wrong, I will take it. I'm not worried about laps being invalid here as far as the times go. I'm not going to be gaining any time. You know, if they get invalidated, it's because I've done well. That slid around, not because I was cutting a corner, so I don't care. That will only have lost me a little bit of time. Of all of the things that could possibly have gone wrong with a V8 supercar, I mean, it's cost me a little bit of time. But nothing major, nothing terrifying, and everywhere else I think I've been a little braver, perhaps carried a bit more speed in places than I was expecting. That shows just how much on edge this is. I mean, that wasn't even me being ambitious horrendously into that corner. I just asked the car that smidge too much. It was just a bit too much of a turn-in as we went down a hill. The front end has the bite, it has the turn-in, has the grip to do it. The back end did not. Oh, it's another big wiggle from the car. However, we're around the kind of mini carousel. I don't quite know what it's called. The second carousel, the second slightly banked corner. And we've got a long straight. I look forward. Oh, no. We have been that big time. Come on, V8 supercar. Thankfully, pointing the right bloody direction. Oh, god damn it. Everything was going so well up until that point. Everything was going so well up until it just snapped. It just let go, and that was it. Once it was gone, it was gone. The switch on that, I can't save it from. It might be quite close between this and the Audi. A 922 to beat. We're at 170 miles an hour down this straight. The Audi was not capable of 170. However, the Audi did have a lot more traction out of these corners. That's a big lift. Maybe I could have been braver through there. Oh, how late dare you break into these next couple of corners. Come on, V8 supercar. Find some grip. It's not going to do it. It's not going to beat that Audi. It's going to be tantalisingly close. Oh, big slide. Big slide out of the final corner. Run towards the line. It's a 9:27. 5 seconds down. Bugger. Without those couple of mistakes, is that probably 5 seconds? Yeah, I would say so. They weren't horrendous. I didn't have to grab reverse. We ended up pinging back and pointing the right direction. Well, the first one wasn't particularly costly, if I'm honest. Only a smidge. Second, I'm annoyed about that because it was going very well up until that point, and front just found grip. It just snapped. It snapped and fired me at the wall. Quite unexpectedly. I wasn't quite ready for that one, I will be honest. However, a 9:27 for a rear-wheel drive V8 supercar, I think that's a pretty good lap time. I think that is a pretty damn good lap time indeed. Okay, yeah, everybody gets beaten by the Audi. It does lose out to that Audi, but it's a lot closer than I thought it was. Was a lot faster and in some ways a bit easier to drive than I expected. It's not easy at all, but it could have been a lot worse, I think, is the takeaway from all of that. Well, there we go. The first challenger has come tantalisingly close, but not quite quick enough. You guys, please do let me know what you want to see me take around this circuit next, whether it be a Formula 1 car, a classic, I don't know, Group 5 car, or the mad, what's his name, Mazda thing. I've forgotten the name of it. That one. You let me know in the comments, and I will give it a try around a very snowy and a very, very slippery Nurburgring. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.